So then who are you?
The chef is a Japanese guy. The waitress is an American. But the way who I'm cooking is just about passion. Passion inside. And hate for the people. But passion in the food. I like to, all the protocol. Clean the table, clean the toilet, I clean everything. I'm obsessive for keep everything in his position. I hate humans. Humans are the problem.
On Rapa Nui, there was once a famous Japanese restaurant. It was built by hand and staffed entirely by a single man, yet it drew famous customers from around the globe. Every decision, from food to ambiance, was strict and authentic. Nothing was left to chance. A perfect 5 stars from every review it ever received, 8 years running. But that restaurant no longer exists. It was torn down to make way for a parking lot, because the personality it took to create something that unique does not play well with others. I'm certain this won't be our most popular story. There's no true narrative, just snippets from an interview with a man who doesn't care what you think. A man who'd rather have his entire life's work torn to the ground than be told what to do by anyone else. He's an individual in every sense of the term. But he's a hard man to like, because he hates you. He hates society. He hates conversing. All he wants to do is work. This is a man who rejected Matt Damon 4 times because he wouldn't make reservations his way. His work is world famous, and yet he went bankrupt 7 times to avoid the expectations of others. He's the independent being many of us imagine we want to be, and yet he is the ego we can't stomach when we meet it. He's the reason I made this series. A year ago, sitting in the restaurant he now spends every waking hour rebuilding, I told him I'd return to tell his story. Because I've never felt more connected to a person, to an internal struggle. And a year later, to the day, here we are, sitting down with the artist I wish I could be. This is the story of trying to remain independent in a social world. This is Rare Earth.
When I was living in Chile, I worked in a fish market, cleaning fish, in a supermarket. When I moved to Japan, the only thing who I know how to do it was clean fish. So I started to work in a fish market. After 6 months, I had 2 options: go back to Chile or stay. For the visa for the Chilean is 6 months. But you restart again when the visa, if you go outside and come back. But I don't have money. I only have the ticket for come back to Chile. So I moved to a boat, a Japanese boat, because they go from Japanese Sea until Russia for 6 months. So I moved to the boat and I work in the kitchen in the boat. And then after the kitchen of the boat, go back to the restaurant and learn Japanese taste. And someday they need someone in Hyatt, so I'm start to work for Hyatt. You see, in the Japanese area, because all the Japanese chefs, they need to speak with someone. I was the sous chef.
Yes.
After 3 years, they need someone in San Francisco in the same, kind of work in the hotel in the Japanese area. I moved it. And then I moved to Milano for the same reason. Worked for Hyatt in the Japanese area. So one day they opened a new Japanese restaurant in the Hyatt on Chile. They need someone and I go back. It was just like that, one thing to the other. It's so funny because I'm still feel like I'm an individual guy. Nobody knows me. Yeah. And I live alone in an island. I never go outside. Outside is so funny, but it's really close. I've been living on this island for the last, 12 years. 12 years. And only 3 times I go to Anakena Beach. And 3 times. Yeah, no more than 5. I'm a workaholic. Even in a small city like Santiago, Every restaurant start to run at 5 o'clock, they finish 3 of the morning. You must to finish in some bar. It's not like a wife life and then wife and kid. That reality is impossible. I live in the restaurant. I sleep in the restaurant. I dream with the restaurant. We married with my wife for 8 years and it's supposed to be no kid. Doctors say no and everything say no, but here it started and they change everything. It's just really simple. I'm obsessive and compulsive disorder. So I feel so happy working and make what I'm like to do. So I'm working every day. I was really obsessive in my profession like a chef. I was obsessive with the taste. But after 12 years, just working in the kitchen, I tried to escape from the kitchen and start to work in the construction. But one day, after almost 5 years just in construction, I tried to escape and I moved to the garden. And now I have 1,715 of the same red tree in a huge construction and the best taste and I'm so famous on the island because every single person of the island know it's impossible to take a reservation for Kotaro. And for me, in my telephone, I have so many names like no reserve, no reserve, no reserve. Every single, I believe after 20 years, I understand if the people is complicated or not for 1 second talking in the phone. You hear it and you believe it. No, no. If you want to eat in my restaurant, you need to try 7 times. No, I was a horrible person 20 years ago. I was so arrogant. I was speaking English, Italian, and Japanese, and I was so young and working in a big company. I was fighting more than 2 times just about my ego. I learned to use my ego right now because I sell a little bit for the people who want to buy it. But I don't like to be an ego anymore. But it's the only way to keep this personality is in an ego net. Yeah, for that reason, if one day you need to decide what audience you want, in some point of my business, after 20 years like a chef, you need to take a decision. You need to be popular or exclusive. I prefer to be exclusive. And exclusivity is it's not about money. It's not how expensive it is. It's how many ridiculous rules you put it. Because the people want to go. You create some idea. My publicity is the anti-publicity. It's not the real publicity. I don't want people. That is my publicity. I don't think too much. I enjoy to be me in this moment. In this moment, yes. I don't have friends because I hate people. I don't drink. If you don't drink, you don't have friends. Because people need to be happy. I feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable right now. I'm checking. It's really difficult for me to be with people. I'm fighting every day and I'm winning every day. I'm fighting with myself and I'm winning every day. But I'm fighting because I'm a fighter. My restaurant is like a museum. It's nice and dangerous. The chopstick, the miso soup, it's so many things out of control. I like the control. I take 45 minutes for dishes and even 2 guests or even 7. For me, it's the same thing. People who want to take something from me, like my kitchen helper or people who want to help me, they quit in 2 months and quit crying. And then they reevaluate his life. It's not a normal situation. I'm the owner of the restaurant. I don't want to talk with your kid.
Yeah.
And the kid is training like a dog, and he say, "Oh, I like salmon with I don't know alcaparras or something." It's like a robot. They feel proud about your son. I don't care your son. I like my son. That's it. How be happy? Be wherever you feel happy. In my case, it's music, construction, food, language, architecture, and I want more, and I want to be learning. I learn.
So you don't recommend to become you, but you have done very well.
Yes.
As you.
Yes, because I know how to keep the best.
So be yourself.
Yes, be yourself.
Don't
It's-
be you.
Yes. I make this because I'm the result of many, many years and many things and many experiences.
Yeah.
It's just about that, and it's working in me.
Do you feel now part of the culture?
No, never.
No.
No, I'm a Kotaro from Kotaro land. You know.